Good afternoon. This is Jeffrey Lee, and I'll be presenting my company presentation on Rivian with a comparison to their market leader in Tesla. Rivian was founded in 2009 in Florida. They're based out of Irvine, California. They currently operate in 3 states, and they do sell cars in Mexico and in Canada. Their primary business is the manufacturing of electrical vehicles. That makes up about 98% of their business, with a little bit of smaller portion of their business based in technology. Rivian's IPO was one of the largest, 153 million shares. The stock price started at about $78 and ended above $100 after the market closed. That being said, they still only own about 5% of the total market share. As you can see, when you compare Rivian to Tesla, Tesla clearly dominates this space. Total assets, total liabilities, market cap. The main thing that you can see on this slide is the fact that Rivian continues to operate at a negative net income, and so they are not yet profitable, whereas Tesla has continuously been profitable, and that has been increasing over the years. Looking at market share, you can see Tesla, again, they own about half the market. Rivian's market share around 5%. They still trail some of the traditional manufacturers such as General Motors, Ford, and Kia. One of the bigger competitive advantages that Tesla has is their supercharging network, which has worldwide network of superchargers that they can that any Tesla owner can use for a fee. The promising part for Rivian is they do have a couple strategic partnerships. One of those partnerships is with Amazon, so they manufacture the Amazon delivery vans, and they also have a new partnership with Volkswagen, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Going back to the IPO, again, IPO for Rivian was big, $78. Tesla's IPO, by contrast, was at $17. But the interesting thing about Rivian was their IPO opened right around when the kind of meme stock craze started, and that made their share price balloon to over $125. Now, once the market kind of corrected, they haven't necessarily recovered. For the past 2 years, their stock price has been relatively stagnant, whereas Tesla has shown the ability to stay consistent. And the graphics that you're looking at are over a 5-year span, and you can see Tesla's up 430%, whereas Rivian's down 88%. The disappointing part of that for Rivian is, their partnerships with Amazon and Volkswagen has had little effect on their stock. Financial stability. Rivian, like we said before, continues to operate at a negative cash flow. However, there is signs for there's positive signs due to the fact that they've been able to increase the efficiency of their manufacturing, cutting manufacturing costs by 30%. And then when you look at their operating cash flow, it improved significantly from a negative 4.8 billion to a negative 1.7 billion. Both of these companies benefit from the electric EV credits, which allow the buyers to receive a certain amount of credits for purchase of the vehicle, as neither of these companies produce any internal combustion vehicles. Financial stability and taxes. With Rivian, they operate at a loss, and so their effective tax rate is essentially 0. Rivian's debt continues to grow, however, not as rapidly as it has in the past, and there's reason to believe that they have a bright future and they eventually will be profitable. Tesla, on the other hand, as profitable as they are, they do pay a significant amount of taxes. International operations, 98% of Rivian's revenue comes from North America. They are not a global company yet. That is in stark contrast with Tesla. Tesla is a worldwide company. They have about 30% of their business in China, 45% of that business in the US. And again, with that supercharger network, they have a presence in over 40 countries. Main thing with both of these companies, the biggest challenge is going to be supply chain disruptions. Rivian would face a major challenge to expand with their inability to become profitable. However, it's easy to see that if they continue on the right track, international expansion should be in their distant future. ESG scores, both of these companies have similar ESG scores. However, Rivian's is classified as a severe. The social risk score was an interesting one. Both of these dealing with, as much as they deal with sustainability, which will drive that score up. Tesla has a very unique issue with their CEO, Elon Musk. He's a very outspoken CEO, and sometimes that his public behavior will influence Tesla's ESG perception. The other one that both of these companies face is human rights, and the fact that some of their mining practices have come under scrutiny. And so this is something that both of these companies will have to fight going forward. Corporate regulation. EV companies benefit quite a bit from some of the regulations. So the zero emission vehicle mandate, that impacts both of these companies. The great thing is that neither of these companies produce internal combustion engines, and so they benefit from it. However, there is a production quota that has to be met. That's one that's easily made by Tesla. Rivian will need to continue to scale to make sure that that stays in place. Another regulation would be the Advanced Clean Cars program. There are certain states that have tougher regulations than others, a benefit to some EV makers and some to the detriment. And then, Tesla and Rivian, again, because they don't produce any gas vehicles, they benefit both from these regulations. So in summary, Rivian is a promising but financially unstable growth company. They are in their growth stage. Their losses, the key to their growth will be to limit their losses, and they must become profitable at some point. The focus for me would be on stabilizing their North American business before expanding into any other countries. They need to continue to build some strategic partnerships like they did with Amazon and Volkswagen. Their partnership with Volkswagen is to develop the next generation version of software for vehicles. That's something that Volkswagen will use and Rivian will use. That's a $5 billion investment from Volkswagen over the next 5 years. I feel like if Rivian is going to compete with Tesla's dominance in the EV marketplace, more partnerships like this will help them. I think Rivian has a clear but challenging path to success, and I feel like as long as they stay on their current path and supply chain tariffs, and avoiding any type of human rights issues regarding sourcing of the materials, I think they're going to be in great position, and it's a good company to invest in. Thank you.